Good morning. It is October 11th, 7:51 this morning, and I'm right off the road. Unbelievable. I set myself up this morning to give myself about an hour and a half to 2 hours to set up, because I was going to walk into this bedding and hunt this morning. And on my way in, right off the road, is a ground scrape, and it's super fresh. We've had tons of leaves falling off the trees as of late. Yesterday it was insane. And this ground scrape that's just off my right shoulder here, it is pure dirt. There's a couple leaves in it, but that tells me it's pretty fresh. Now, yesterday I hunted the opposite side of the property, on the other side of the road, and was deep in the bedding. And when I came out, there wasn't a car parked or anything, so I know nobody's been in on this side either, other than me hunting this yesterday on the other side. Good news is, I haven't been in here since last weekend on Sunday morning. It's minimal pressure is my assumption. I don't know if anyone's hunting this in the weekdays, but if they are, I haven't found any tree stands unless they're all saddle hunters, but it's a decent morning. This spot makes a lot of sense. However, it's the first time that I've really hunted to this degree, as being this close to the road. So when those cars are driving by, it's going to be tough to actually hear these deer moving. But it's already pretty quiet through here. It's probably a blessing in disguise, because we were supposed to get 6 to 8 mile an hour winds on an east wind today. And it's all maybe 1 mile east. Which just makes things very quiet too. I have to get into this bedding area with a 8 mile an hour wind. You might be able to pull it off and get deeper in there, but I got here and it's pretty calm. The sign is right here off the road. So this is just a quick breakdown on where we're at on this hunt this morning. The expected deer movement is to come off of the food sources into this narrow pinch point where you can see the state land is around 40 acres or so public. The goal is to try to get in a little bit deeper here. I was trying to actually get in here somewhere and then have this east wind kind of blowing back into the house on that private. However, once we got in here, we immediately stumbled across a buck scrape, a ground scrape that was very fresh with an east wind. We were able to set up directly off of it, have that blow out the back to the road, and then actually anticipate some additional deer movement that I wasn't looking at initially to come in and filter through this low. There's a kind of a very small creek that kind of works through here and then brings back into this main brook that kind of runs into play here. So these white arrows are indicating deer movement coming off of the food source and coming back to the bedding. So you have general direction of deer movement to come into place through here. And so from pre-scouting, summer scouting that I did, this is definitely primary bedding for the deer in between the food sources. I actually kicked up a few different does on one afternoon just coming in here to put up a trail camera. But the idea is then with an east wind, when we look at this, we have a lot of corn that's coming around us. This is a really sweet spot, I think, for rut when the corn is harvested. So more to come on that. But from a topo, view, you can see this is really where this low is coming into play here. And then you have some ridge lines that kind of work up to about 700 feet, and they drop down to about 650. So you see about 50 feet of change in elevation here, which naturally will force these deer to kind of work through this bottom, and we're set up right at where this mouth somewhat opens. Now with this road here, you're expecting the deer to kind of work into this pocket, not really come into play here with the creek. There isn't really much anywhere to go.
It's a constant reminder that this isn't easy, and don't take for granted the small things out here that you can enjoy by not even shooting anything. The hunt's not really officially over, but damn, maybe it is now. Anyways, probably gotta wash my gloves now. I love that little scent bomb. This is a good weekend though. We were able to find 2 ground scrapes, which is definitely worthwhile just to kind of gain some knowledge. And then in addition, saw 2 deer, doe and a buck yesterday on yesterday's morning's hunt. So I like to shoot a respectable buck, one that I'm happy with. And that means passing up a lot of those younger deer. I mean, everybody can shoot what they want. I've shot young bucks. And now I want to be able to not just hunt whitetails, but I want to be able to hunt and target a mature deer. Anything in Michigan that's really 3.5 or older is probably a good buck to take. But yeah, if you could shoot a 5.5-year-old deer on state land in Michigan, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Especially with your bow. But yeah. See how it goes. I think I'm gonna pack down. It's 10:30 now. But it's been fun. Try to get out here during the week after work for some evening sits. And then we'll be back out here next weekend trying to get it done. And honestly, I'll probably be back in these same locations, pending the wind. But till next time.